Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Integrated Self Podcast. Today's episode is going to be very expansive and exciting and empowering. It's really geared towards you guys that just know that you are meant to expand into not only a new identity, but a new reality, okay? And I'm going to share with you something that you can actually start doing right now after you listen to this podcast episode and start using to implement and show your brain the evidence that you already are living that new reality or feeling the way you wanted to feel. Because right now it is currently a Tuesday afternoon. I live in New York, so we've had this long, cold winter. Finally, spring is here, and it's like 72 degrees out. I'm driving around. It's so sunny out. My windows are finally down. I drove through a golf course today that my boyfriend and I, it's so crazy, I almost called him my husband because we've been together for like 8 years. But we golf here all the time, and it's just almost time for our summer hobbies and activities that we love doing together. And I've just been feeling so expansive today. I've been really tapping into these visions and these like kind of daydreamy energy, but really feeling like my brain is showing me the evidence. My brain is showing me the evidence that I'm in alignment, that I'm already the person that I've been seeing in these visions and in these daydreams. And so I want to talk to you guys because a lot of us might feel right now like we're in a location, maybe a kind of living situation, right? Like maybe you live in an apartment and you've been wanting to buy a house or move somewhere or change careers or change jobs or, you know, whatever it is, like whatever expansion means to you, right? Like you're working or manifesting certain things that make you feel abundant and luxurious and expansive and free and comfortable in your reality, right? Like maybe just more money, more love, more friendship, more social life expansion, whatever it may be to you. And I think a lot of us struggle with this balance where we're working on ourselves, we're healing what needs to be healed, we're working on these limiting beliefs, like dissolving them and creating new neural pathways in our brain aligned to the new identity or the new situation that we really want to call in or manifest. And I live in a kind of area where I know my soul is like, has been telling me honestly for the past 2 or 3 years that I'm not meant to stay here. Now, I trust the process and I trust exactly where I'm at right now. And, you know, I trust that I am here for a reason still. And I trust that my soul is telling me the truth, that I am meant to expand out of here and not, you know, settle here and where I live. And I know a lot of us might feel that way. And when you're kind of in your little town or your city and you know that, you know, you want to leave it eventually, or maybe, you know, apply this to your job or whatever kind of situation you're living in right now, like, you know, on the soul level that you're meant to transmute that and manifest a new reality or a new lifestyle, a new career, whatever it may be. It can kind of get easy to box ourselves in and just, you know, go about mundane day-to-day life, our routine. And so what happens is we kind of find ourselves in these cycles where we're doing the same things, we're going the same places, we are feeling the same feelings, right? Like if you're going the same places, eating the same foods, like you're not making any changes, even if they're small in your life, you're going to just keep kind of feeling the same way. You're going to keep experiencing the same kinds of relationships, the same kinds of people. To bridge the gap between who you are now and the life or the lifestyle, the reality that you're living in now, in order to close this gap to becoming and living and manifesting that new reality, we need to start showing our brain that the current way that things are isn't normal, and start to create a new normal for ourselves. I know it can get so easy to kind of just like get into the same cycle of things and the same routines and the same thoughts, right? So what we need to do is change something or change some things. I always tell my clients this, it's a little bit of tough love, but nothing changes if nothing changes. If you, again, go to the same places, see the same people, have the same weekend, you know, situations or activities or plans, and you're expecting to walk into a new reality or manifest new and bigger and better, that's not going to come because you're being the same person, you're being the same identity, you're going the same places at the same times, you're eating the same foods, like you're kind of just living this cycle in the same. And this is what you've kind of subconsciously created as your new normal. But I always tell my clients this, that you're never locked into this reality. You can always transmute this and align energetically to a new reality that you actually prefer, that is actually in alignment to how you want to feel and the experiences that you want to have. So what I want to share with you guys today is asking you, what can you do now in your current reality to start showing your brain that you already are that person? And this is something that I do too, right? Like all the things that I teach on, I use on myself. We need to start showing our brain a new reality, a new normal, right? What we desire to be our new normal. And so what this looks like is you putting yourself either in environments and new routines, eating new foods, going to different places, so that you can start to kind of break out of this cycle of the same, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people are like, well, what if I can't afford that right now, right? And, what if like the things you're thinking about when I say like do new things or do the things now that that new identity of yourself already does. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be you splurging and being irresponsible and spending more money than you have to make yourself feel like you're rich or whatever this is, right? These are easy ways where you're not breaking your bank, you're not, being irresponsible with your resources that you have, so that you can biologically create these changes within yourself, right? Within your brain, within your neural pathways. And so one example is going to test drive a car that you want. Maybe you can't afford that Range Rover or that G-Wagon or that big Cadillac Escalade. Like, I don't know what it is you want. But for example, you can go test drive that car now, and you don't have to buy it now. But what you're doing every single time that you go out of your comfort zone and do something that makes you feel like you already are that identity, you already are in that reality, is by doing these things, putting yourself in the rooms or whatever it may be that that identity of yourself already is living in or already has or already does, right? Or already goes to those places. So for example, I know that my future self that has a completely thriving business is making more than 6 figures. She goes in the morning to a really cool like local coffee shop, and she knows the people and the baristas that work there, and she does some work in the morning. And then she goes outside and she goes for these walks in the middle of the day because she manifested this time freedom. And so now maybe I don't have the schedule or the ability to go work at the coffee shop every single morning at certain times, but I can maybe find some ways to go outside and go for hikes or walks or use my free time in the ways that she would. Same thing with the car example. This weekend, I just told my boyfriend this. I was like, I'm gonna go test drive a G-Wagon this weekend. I'm gonna go test drive a bunch of cars this weekend, and obviously I'm not gonna buy one right now, but it's going to start to show my brain and my body and my nervous system like what this feels like, right? Like when you currently drive, like for example, right now I drive a Jeep Compass. I actually love this car. I really do. And it's been very good to me, and I have the all winter package and everything. So like I do love this car, but I know that eventually I'm going to need a new one. And eventually I've always connected to this version of me that drives a luxury car or a higher end car. Even though I'm not going to buy a G-Wagon this weekend, I'm going to put myself in a G-Wagon so that I can feel the vibrations, the frequencies that my future self already feels, because she's already living that life. She already has that car. She's already driving it every single day, and she's feeling comfortable and luxurious and protected and excited to get in her car and drive it. That's what I'm going to do. And what happens is every single time that you align or you make a choice in alignment to the new identity, you obviously feel that way. Your brain starts to associate this with as being your new reality, as being your new normal. What are the things that you guys can do right freaking now? Find ways that you can do it so that you can expose your brain, you can expose your nervous system to the things you want. Maybe it's really hard for you to kind of manifest money, and you're trying to manifest money or attract more money. Have you ever seen a bank account where you have the kind of money or the amounts of money that you are desiring and manifesting? So maybe you can go on like Canva or Google and just like type in 6-figure bank accounts and start to show your brain like, this is what my bank account will literally look like when I manifest all this money, right? Because maybe you're used to having 5 figures in your bank account, but you want to have 6 or 7 figures. So what is that going to look like? Like imagine you logging into your current bank account right now, but instead of 5 figures, there's 7 figures or there's 6 figures. How would that feel? How can you start to show your brain like, oh, that's normal for me to log into my bank account and see 6 figures in there? The reason why we aren't currently experiencing what we desire is because our nervous system is repelling it. Our nervous system doesn't feel safe in experiencing those things. And what happens is your brain will literally start to self-sabotage by not completing things or playing small or not showing up up in your full self or whatever it may be to protect you from this perceived fear, right? This perceived fear of like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. Your nervous system literally repels it because it's not familiar to you. Maybe you don't know what to do with this money, so you want to attract it, but you can't sustain it. So you give it all away subconsciously, or you're like, oh, it's not normal for me to have all this money in my account. Like, I need to get rid of it, right? And this is all subconscious. Obviously, your conscious mind is like, oh, hell yeah, I love this freaking money. So it's all on the subconscious level. You can say anything you want with your conscious mind. That's why you're not getting anywhere or transforming or feeling any different energetically in your life, is because it's not the conscious that we need to work on, it's the subconscious. So what can you start to do today to start showing your mind and body that you are living and it's safe to have or be or do or feel the things or the ways that you want to? So by me going to test drive that Range Rover or that G-Wagon or that Cadillac Escalade, I don't know what I want, right? By me going to do that, and by me exposing my brain and physically sitting in the car, touching the steering wheel, feeling how it would feel as if I'm buying that car right now, you start to change your biology in these moments. Your brain starts to associate this with you. It starts to associate me, Ariana, with a G-Wagon. And now after you leave, right, because obviously I'm not going to buy the car this weekend, but after I leave the dealership, my brain is going to start showing me, this is a scientifically proven fact, your brain is going to start showing you ways in your life that you can take, choices you can make to inch yourself closer to having that thing. People might splurge on a first class flight and spend that money. Maybe they don't make a lot of money, but they have the money available to like maybe buy one first class ticket just to have the experience. And every single rich person, I've watched so many like business podcasts, people that make multi-millions, real estate people, right? Like people that aren't even in this field of self-development, growth, transformation, spirituality, whatever. Everyone says this, that the second that they take a first class flight, they literally refuse to sit economy anymore. They start to look for ways. Your brain, your subconscious mind starts to show you ways in your current reality to pinpoint to you like, oh, you can make this choice here. This would align you. This would make you feel like you'd felt on that first class flight, right? This is going to align you with that freedom. Those vibrations, your brain is going to start pinpointing them to you in your current reality, which is how we use our current reality to transmute it into something bigger, better, more freeing, whatever it is that we're working towards and you actually envision for yourself and want to experience. So this is what happens, is the more that you show your brain the new identity, the new self, the new reality in the ways that you can right now, the more your brain is going to start to associate you with that new identity and with that new reality. So what needs to happen is after you do these exercises, after you test drive that car, after you take that first class flight, or maybe it's smaller examples, like maybe you're trying to manifest time freedom so you have a day off of work. That day that you have off of work, instead of just sleeping in and not doing anything and just treating it like your current identity would take the day off, how would that future self, how would they use that day? How would they use that time to their advantage? What would they do? Would they make the most out of it? Like, what would they do with that day off compared to your current self and how you've been using your days off? Really start to identify how you're living your life now, the situations, the environments, the energies that you're exposing yourself to, and what your future self, how would they use these moments? How would they respond to other people? And I was really working on opening up and clearing my throat chakra and using it to speak my truth, my communication from a place of power. I paid attention to situations where I wanted to crawl back into a shell and like water myself down and shut my mouth or bite my tongue. I used situations and said, how would my future self approach this? How would that version of me react to this person and what they're saying? How would this person respond, right? Like when I'm at the mechanic, this was a funny example, but it's so true, especially as a woman. When you're at the mechanic or you're in these situations with mostly men, a male-dominated field, a lot of times I was a fawner, I was a people pleaser. So I wouldn't feel confident to speak up and just say no to whatever they were saying, or I'll think about it, or can I call you back, right? Like I always just fawned, and I just let them either take advantage of me or convince me into buying something that I really didn't need or didn't even have the money for at the time. So I pinpointed and at the mechanic, like as I was working on my communication and my expression in my throat chakra, I started to really like in that moment when he started telling me I needed to pay like $4,000 for all this work or whatever. And, you know, my boyfriend at the time, he's still my boyfriend, he was telling me like, you don't need that. Like, let me take a look when you get home, because he knows a lot about cars and stuff. So my people pleasing self would have just fawned and given him the $4,000 because I didn't have the balls to stand up for myself and express how I truly felt in the moment. So I used that moment to express myself, and I used that moment because there were people in the waiting room, right? This is what happens when you're a people pleaser, is you're like, well, people are going to hear me and like everyone's going to look over at me. And what if this guy like starts to, you know, combat what I'm saying, and I'm scared, and I'm just going to say, okay, right? Just do what you need to do. Okay. And so I sat there and I just said what I felt. I said, I'm just going to have my boyfriend look at it when I get home, and I'll call you if I want to come back and get that work done. And I obviously didn't say it from a rude place, but I still expressed myself, and I didn't spend the $4,000 that day. And so I freaking won. I won in that moment, and I got to experience myself communicate and express myself from that place of conviction, of certainty, of I'm going to listen to what I truly feel right now and what I truly want. Despite like, cause even there's a part of me subconsciously as a people pleaser is like, I'm letting the mechanic down, right? Like I feel bad that I'm not going to be paying him, you know, all this bullshit. And so I practice, and now every single time, like your brain starts to pinpoint the situations of like, ooh, you can practice the new identity here. Ooh, you know, those feelings of luxury and wealth or whatever it is that you want to feel. How can you start to create those situations in your life now without the money being here yet, without you able to buy that car yet or that house, right? Do it with your dream house. Go look around and drive around. Maybe you live in like an apartment complex, or you have a house and you want to get a bigger house, or whatever it is. I don't care. Whatever kind of living situation you want to transition into. Are there gated communities? Are there the kinds of houses that you want around you where you could just kind of like drive by and play some like empowering music that you love and just like go and tour these houses? Go to open houses, right? Anyone can walk into an open house. Go start showing your brain and body the reality that you desire more of. The more and more that you do this, the more your brain and body starts to realize that this is just who you are now. This is your current reality. You start to feel that way more and more and more. You start to integrate it. Your brain will start to pinpoint the action, the choices, the feelings that already are available to you right freaking now, to start to use for your advantage, to start using to transmute your current reality into a new normal that is just abundance is just normal for you. Receiving every single day is just normal for you, and it's safe and it's okay. But you're not going to get to that new identity where your nervous system feels safe and receiving thousands of dollars a week or whatever it is that you want, that dream car, right? You're not going to feel worthy and safe in having those things unless you already start practicing having them and feeling what it feels like to have that as your reality. So this is what I want you guys to do. If you're listening to this for the next week, just keep this in your mind, re-listen to this podcast as many times as you need to, but watch how your perspectives and your mind starts to shift, and how your brain will literally start to pinpoint to you the things that you can do to practice integrating a new identity. This is so exciting. This is fun. You're going to start feeling the way you want to feel. You're going to start feeling luxurious. You're going to start feeling wealthy. You're going to start feeling confident, because now that your action and your choices are going to start aligning to the new identity, that's why you're going to start developing confidence, because you're showing up as a person you've always wanted to now. Then the things come. Then the universe responds to you and your energy. The universe is a mirror to you. So we need to put you in the energy that you want reflected back to you. This is why people say like, I want more love in my life. I'm not attracting love. And it's like, well, are you being in love? When's the last time you felt loved? When's the last time that you loved on you and loved yourself, right? Like if you want more love, you need to feel more love. You need to be more loving towards yourself, towards others. Like attracts like, baby. All right. So I'm currently sweating in my car. I pulled over. I'm watching all these men golf, and I have the groceries in my back seat because my amazing boyfriend ordered our groceries for us, and I just picked them up, and it saves so much freaking time because I hate grocery shopping so much with a burning passion. I just would rather order them online and pick them up. So I have to go home, but I really hope you enjoyed this episode. DM me on Instagram. I have private coaching packages. We can do a 1-month intensive together. We can do multiple months and sign up for a multiple months package. You know, whatever it is that you need, I'm here for you. We'll figure it out together because you deserve to fucking experience what it feels like when you actually make the changes you need to make. And my guess right now is you are probably saying positive affirmation, but not really feeling any real change that's long lasting and sustainable. That's what I'm here for. You can do a ritual, you can do a manifestation formula, you can do a prompt, a journaling prompt, whatever, and that's all great. I'm not against those things. I teach my clients how to use those things to integrate these new identities and these new vibrations. But at the same time, that's not all you need. You need implementation. You need to embody all the knowledge that you have. You need to be now. You know all the things. Now you just need to do it. Now you just need to be it. Now you just need to embody it. Learn how to consistently maintain a new vibration that's aligned to the future or the reality that you desire more of. All right? My DMs are open. I freaking love you, and stay tuned for the next one.